globally, it's been congressional hearings in white slavery, child kidnapping rings. They now have a new name, but CSC, DynCorp, and the economics.
They merged into CSC, and then they got spun off and went public, so they're back to their old name.
Okay, so, but I mean, I have all the mainstream news articles. This is literally a Legion of Doom, and that's all part of their military operation, and grabbing kids is very lucrative.
Well, the scariest story in the world, and one that's hard for most people to get into, is the role of pedophilia. And pedophilia is a very old story, Alex. It's been used for years, as both a personnel benefit, if you will, and a form of entrapment. Once you get a file, once you get dirty pictures of somebody engaged in pedophilia, a politician or a business leader, you own them for life. It's one of the most economic ways to control there is. I hate to say it, but that's the reality. If you look at the history of narcotics trafficking and mortgage fraud in this country, it's intimately linked with pedophilia and sex slavery. I just hate to say it, that's the way it is. And I got onto DynCorp in the 90s because you had a couple of whistleblowers when DynCorp was a government contract. You had their project managers literally engaged in buying and owning children and using them for sex and working with the local mafias who were tracking it. And yet the State Department, where DynCorp is the biggest contract, was forgiving all of this. Anyway, this is all on the public record. And then DynCorp started to pop up in Child Protective Services contracts around the country. And we were in a tough... Stay there, Catherine.
Okay. I'm going to have you back for a full hour soon on this subject, because I actually got death threats when I first started covering this about 8 years ago, when we learned about DynCorp, just modern slave traffickers.
Hounded by debt collectors with phone calls and letters? Thinking of calling a debt relief company? Don't. Greedy lawyers and debt companies charge thousands. Why pay when you can get their solution absolutely free with New York Times best-selling author Herb Kay's #1 debt secret, the how-to on stopping the calls without paying the debt companies. Yes, free for a very limited time. Here's Herb Kay.
Don't get ripped off by credit repair companies when I can give you the information you need to do it yourself for free.
Herb Kay was right. His free information helped me stop the calls and settle my debt.
What have you got to lose? Stop the calls now. Get out of debt and have more money. Get Herb Kay's #1 debt secret absolutely free now. Call 800-822-1291. That's 800-822-1291. 800-822-1291.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Hi, this is Steve Shank, eFoods Direct. We have stopped taking orders for the Buy 3 Get 1 Free program and have started production. Congratulations. Your choice to participate in the production of your food supply by pre-ordering will prove very wise. Shipments will begin the end of March and will be sent in the order that they were received. Now something fun. It's springtime. We all know that garden seeds aren't really a food supply, but they're a great supplement to your food reserve if you have the time and place to garden. Here's the plan. When you add a 1-month Superfood Spring Pack to your food storage, we'll send you that garden of non-hybrid seeds absolutely free. Order now while the free seeds last. Call 800-409-5633 or on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Get a real supply of food to eat while you wait for your supplemental garden to grow. Call 800-409-5633, efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
On the 21st of April, later this month, Catherine Austin Fitts will spend at least an hour with us. She's very, very gracious. We'll give you her website before she leaves us. But for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, I was just showing mainstream news articles. I have congressional hearings where DynCorp, they say, well, you kidnapped tens of thousands of children for sex slaves. And then they asked Rumsfeld, why are they allowed to do this? And he just said, they just are. And, again, the magnitude of the evil, and DynCorp, I'd known some of this, but she sent me a link to news articles and government purchase orders where they're involved all over warehousing the kids once they're taken. So now it's not enough to grab Iraqi kids or Serb kids. Now they're grabbing our kids. Catherine, finish your story.
Okay, so I'm the way I got onto this was I was in Washington, and I had come on to DynCorp because of their role in the war on drugs. And I'll tell you two stories. The first was a group of peasant women from South America came up to give a presentation to congressmen, and they gave a presentation in Washington on how they were being moved off their land. Private people were picking up their land for cheap, and then the government was building housing and, you know, this whole war on drugs game. And so I kept asking them questions, and finally they got very suspicious and said, how come you know so much about how the money works in our country? And I said, well, I was the Assistant Secretary of Housing, and apparently it works the same way in your country as it works at ours. So afterwards, I did a little research and discovered the same contractor in enforcement at HUD in this country was the lead contractor in Latin America in the war on drugs. It was DynCorp. So I started to get in and look at DynCorp and on and on and on. And that's when the story of the sex slave trafficking came out. And it was unbelievable because Insight Magazine, Alex, wrote a great story about sex slave trafficking, the allegations in connection with the DynCorp litigation. Those magazines' cover story were dropped on every senator and every congressman's desk. And the next week, both the Navy and the State Department gave huge new contracts to DynCorp. You know, so it didn't seem to matter. It was quite amazing. Anyway, so fast forward, I ended up writing a series of stories about DynCorp and illuminating what was going on because, in fact, the chairman of the Finance Committee at Enron was a private investor who was the chairman and lead investor for many years in DynCorp. And the linkages between DynCorp and some of what was going on with the funny money was pretty scary. So when our litigation was very hot and heavy, and of course DynCorp was a big contractor at the Department of Justice and was said by the Inslaw people to be one of the managers of the Promise software. Anyway, so we're in the middle of the litigation, and I have a person, one of the people working for me, helping me do the litigation support work, which was very time-consuming, came to me and said, you know, somebody from Child Protective Services showed up at my house, and she's a single mom.
We got a minute and a half left, so finish up on this.
And so she said, I'm sure it's a mistake. And I said, no, this is dangerous. We need to research. Find out if DynCorp is the contractor for Child Protective Services. Sure enough, they were, and we literally had to get her to move to another state.
And this is a child molestation army. So go.
Well, but what you need to, so last week when I saw what was going on in Texas, I said, you want to check and see whether DynCorp is behind, is in the mix, because the idea of going after people's children just because they disagree with government policy, this is a real risk.
This is pure evil. You had one more point you wanted to make.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you, Alex. You sent two of your incredible producers down to my house during a snowstorm. They came all the way out from Memphis in a snowstorm. I never thought they'd make it. We spent a day filming. They were so intelligent. They were so professional. They were so capable. I said, wow, Alex Jones is going to a whole new level. What a team. I was very impressed.
You're a sweetheart, Catherine Austin Fitts. God bless you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you